with Carson, who wants to bring his Salamangreat deck profile. So, how is it for this format? I know it's a little tough.
Yeah, it's kind of cope with the Ishizu tiers, but hey, it's salads. I love the deck. I always play it.
And if you go first, you do have a chance.
Exactly. If you win a die roll, you win. Make a Biz Dweller, pass. Baguska, pass. Yeah, the deck's pretty standard, but it's what I play.
All right, awesome. Let's get right to the list.
So we start with salad names, of course. One Gazelle. Bring it back to 2, bring it back to 3, 1. You know, just the classic. Next, the other names. So these ratios for the next 3, like people always alter between like 1, 2, or 3. I just play 2 of each. So 2 Spinny, 2 Foxy, 2 Jaguar. Some people will play 1, some people will play 3. I just find 2 is nice. It's a nice consistency of always seeing at least one of them. You don't draw dupes. And when I used to play Desires, like with 2, you would usually always have at least 1. Then next is 1 Falco. That's also pretty standard. Foul. Some people don't play this, but I like it just for blocking out some back row. Helps you go into OTK, and it's a free. It helps for rank 4s, right? So that's good for Baguska or Abyss Dweller. Then we get 3 Buffalo, 3 Circle, 3 Silent Mining. You draw one of these, you know, and if you open literally anything else, it's at least hopefully a Quetzal, or you try to make Baguska, like you try to gas.
Is Lady Debug still played or no?
For the most part, I'm pretty sure people don't really play Lady Debug that much anymore, just because for one, it's the most obvious Ash, and like there's not much you can do after that. Like if you link it into Veilings, there's like it's kind of dead after that. So Muffalo is just better because it helps you discard, get some more names into your grave. Helps you draw 2, so you draw more hand traps, which you kind of need again with salads, because this deck is just rank 4 and hand traps, and then you try to OTK the next turn. So I'd say Buffalo is way better in that aspect. It's also level 3 fire, so it helps you make materials to other stuff. Then it's 3 Exceed.
Let's go more Abyss Dwellers.
Yeah, Abyss Dweller against Ishizu tier. Against anything else, you just make Baguska. Usually, if they don't like draw Dark a little more or Imperm, then they kind of just have to like set and not do much after that, or they have to like spend a lot of resources. Then we got the Salad Spell Traps. 1 Sank, of course. Hope you don't draw it. 1 Rage, 1 Roar. That's pretty standard. So yeah, that's the ratios for the core of it. Nothing. There's no real spice to it, but this works. It's a standard salad deck, so it works really well. Some people do include Adventure Package. I'm not too big on that. Hand traps. So the idea is you just play a lot, play whatever hand traps you want. Just the idea with salads is you just play a fuck ton and hope that you like draw 2 starters, 3 hand traps, or even like 4 hand traps, 1 starter. Usually they can't play through much of that. So I got 2 Crow, 2 Meister, 2 Veiler, 2 Ghost Bell, 2 Mourner, 2 Ash, again, 2 Droll, 2 Imperm, 16, that's my count. So again, Mourner, very underrated. You can use it whenever, even during your turn. Today I tried putting in Skullmeister and more Ghost Mourners just to try to fight against that Shizu matchup, and actually come up today. Then everything else is like, you know, you play whatever hand traps you want. I just play Joel because I like it, but obviously I know it's not optimal. Some people play Desires. Obviously you can play that for sure. If you play Desires, I'd say just don't run just 1 copy of one of the salad names. Will is also really good, but if you play Will, then my problem with playing Will is that you wouldn't play Exceed, because if you play both Exceed and Will, it kind of bricks. So I choose either Exceed or Will, and especially in this format where you kind of have to turbo out the Dweller or the Baguska, then Exceed is way better in my opinion. But definitely it's not a problem if you run that either. So yeah.
How many cards in the main?
40.
Awesome.
Yeah, gotta be consistent. So for extra deck, we got 3 Veilings.
Classic.
Yeah. 3 Sunlight Wolf.
Yep.
Also standard.
Yep, My Little
Rush
Pony.
Stallion.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't need to run more than 1. Just 1 is fine, because usually if it goes off, then you usually have like most names already, so you don't really need to run a second one. The bounce is really fun, but just 1 is enough, because our extra deck space is really tight. So one will be enough. The bringing it out of limited didn't really do much. Well, it was a while ago, but you know. Next, 1 Almirage. This is not always seen. this is also kind of new for me too, but honestly it's come up a lot recently for me. So what you make it with one of the hand traps. So the idea is if you like kind of brick with like 4 hand traps, 1 exceed, at least you can still make an Abyss Dweller or a Baguska, or even later in the game, like you have nothing left in your hand, you draw a card, it's a hand trap, at least you can still make a name on field so you can bring out the stuff from your graveyard. So it's not really something you would see right off the bat, but as you play games and you see like, oh, I have hand traps in my hand, or it's just like a way to get a name on the field, especially that's what's important with Salads. You still have your normal summon, you can just still keep playing, maybe even after they nib you, or if they get rid of all your names, you can at least make 1 more and then you still keep playing from there. Then it's the Heat Soul package. Just draw 2, can't really complain. You do it if you brick. Access code package, OTK, and then both Dweller and Baguska.
Awesome. And so, any cards that you would consider switching around, or this is kind of nice?
Heat Leo is also played. I personally had to cut it out just to include Dweller. Before I used to not run Dweller, but because I run Dweller, then I also ran Almirage, so then I cut Heat Leo. But Heat Leo is also really good. It helps you shuffle in back row. That stops you from doing the OTK. It's also just an out to sometimes big bodies. So that's like the other one. Also, Appaloosa is also good to run if you run Will. So side is pretty standard. We got back row hate, 3D barrier, 3 rivalry. You prage that you draw either of these against Tears, Dark Ruler, and Nib.
Interesting. Why Nib?
Yeah, You're right. You're not. That's a good question. I have been considering cutting it out because it doesn't do much against Tears now. But I still run it just in case you run into those decks that aren't issues with Tear, and it does come up, I guess. But I have been considering seeing if there's anything else I could change it out for.
Alright, thank you so much for the deck profile, Carson. Any shoutouts?
Community, Yu-Gi-Oh! Community at Montreal, and friends and family.
Awesome, and also Go for Game, Calvin. So,
Yep.
Awesome, thank you so much for the profile. Take care.